Hello everyone, and my name is Veena. I'm going to tell you a story about Sri Krishna, the 5 Pandavas, and the Kauravas, a story from Mahabharata written by C. Gopalachari in his book. I love to collect some personal tales about nature, and also read up some mythological stories. I'm a preschool teacher and educator. So here it is. Sri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Nath Narayana Vasudeva. Sri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Nath Narayana Vasudeva. Sri Krishna, the Lord of the universe. In those days, the Pandavas, the 5 Pandavas, Yudhishtir, Bhim, Arjun, Nakul and Sahadev, they were doing their Aranyavasa, means they were living in the forest for the 13 years period. Whereas Duryodhan and his family, the Kauravas, were living in the palace in Hastinapur, near Delhi. Now, Duryodhan had just performed the Vaishnav Yajna, and with great pomp and great show. One day, Durvasa Rishi, sage Durvasa, and his disciples visited Duryodhan and the palace. Now he was known for his temper and anger. So Duryodhan made all the best arrangements for Durvasa Rishi and all his disciples. He attended to Rishi himself, his food, his clothing, his puja, and any penance that he would do and meditation that he would do. And in the end, Durvasa Rishi was happy and granted him a boon. And he asked Duryodhan, "Ask what you want." Now Duryodhan was always a very mean and cruel person towards his cousins, the Pandavas. He thought, this is the best time for me to ask sage Durvasa to go and visit the Pandavas in their Aranyavas, in their forest. What better time would that be than to go for a lunch? And so that's what he asked Durvasa Rishi. And Durvasa Rishi granted that wish. So everything was finished in Hastinapur, and Durvasa Rishi and his disciples left the palace and proceeded towards the forest for their own work. Along the way, yes, they did drop by the Pandavas who were living there. Yudhishtir saw Durvasa Rishi and his 100 disciples and did namaskaram and invited all of them to his kutir. A kutir is a small hut with meager needs for the day. Durvasa Rishi accepted his wish and he said, "We will go and bathe in the river. Please keep lunch ready for all of us. I have 100 disciples with me." And so Yudhishtir ran towards his kutir, his little hut, and informed the other Pandav brothers and Draupadi, their wife. Well, they had just finished lunch for the day, and Draupadi was now perplexed, didn't know what to do. In that time, the sun god had granted them an Akshay Patra, that means a vessel, which would bring them food by magic and suffice them for that day. But that's only for the 5 brothers and their wife Draupadi. 1 meal a day from the Akshay Patra. And so everybody had already had their food. And Draupadi had cleaned up too. So now the Patra would not be sufficient to grant any food. How was she going to feed the sage and his 100 disciples? She went to the kitchen and she cried out for Krishna, 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 save me. Come, help me, Krishna. And there appeared Sri Krishna. And he told Draupadi, I'm hungry. Give me some food to eat. I am hungry. And Draupadi said, O Lord, here I am asking you to help me, and you have come to test me? Please do not do this. How am I to give you food? The Akshay Patra is empty. Bring it here, he said. Let me check. I'm hungry. I don't want any excuses. And so Draupadi brought the Akshay Patra, and Krishna looked at it, and pleased, smiling, he found 1 grain of rice and a small piece of vegetable stuck to it. He ate that. He ate the piece of vegetable and satiated not only himself, but this is by Maya and the Lord's grace that all the 100 disciples of sage Durvasa were also satiated. And then when Bhim went to the river to call Rishi Durvasa and his disciples that lunch is ready, they all said, bless you and your brothers. We are all satiated and we will now depart. And with that, we get to see how Lord Krishna is happy with just a small piece of food, and he fills the universe and feeds all of us. So, if the children are listening to this story, make sure you don't leave anything on your plate, because Sri Krishna is watching. Food is Anna Hai Purna Brahma. Thank you, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this story. So do please leave your comments, and thank you, Meera, for giving us this platform and able to share the story with you. Thank you, Meera, at Mayaakatha, where stories dance.